We need first of all to recap and know what is this vector that we are talking about, so that it does not remain to be an elephant in the room. Students, you need to understand that vectors, by definition, is a quantity that has both magnitude and direction. So for it to be a vector, it must have magnitude and direction. For instance, somebody could tell you that the distance from Thika to Nairobi is 50 kilometers. Simply what that person has done, he has given you vectors from Thika to Nairobi, and he has told you that is 50 kilometers. You must move from Thika to Nairobi as indicated. Direction in vectors is very important because that makes the difference between it and scalar quantities. Therefore, ideally, we need to understand that vectors is about direction and distances. Magnitude is what we are calling distance. Other names shall come up like length or modulus, but we shall keep repeating until you get it properly. Vectors is largely used in measurements to indicate location or points or position of a point, and especially in mathematics, we use it to indicate position of an item or location of an item. And therefore, it is an important area for us to understand. You'll find that we shall use Cartesian plane to explain or to illustrate to you how vectors works. We have left the issue of long distance. We shall start with small distance so that from there we can extrapolate. We can follow through and see how it can be used in long distance. Cartesian plane is simply intersection of the two axes. This is the x-axis and the y-axis. So we can indicate a point in our Cartesian plane and use vectors to describe that point. For instance, if our scale was 1, 2, 3, and on the y, we have the same 1, 2, and 3, we could have a point P here, which can be read as P 2, 1. Remember, students, we read a point starting with x coordinate followed by the y-axis to get a coordinate of that point. And therefore, we can locate this point P using vectors. I want us to look at some examples of vectors now that I have introduced to you the Cartesian plane. Examples. A, you could have a point like OA, and it's written for you. OA is 3I plus J. Simply, what this means is that this point starts from an origin O to a certain point A. And that point read as 3I plus J, this members is called unit vector. It is unit vector in the sense that it uses the units, the counters, 1, 2, 3. It normally uses I and J in places of X and Y. Therefore, this simply means you move 3 steps on the X-axis